Now, surely I'll never be accused of being the biggest LeBron James nut hugger or ball washer. Hence, the Michael Jordan posters in the background. And you notice Space Jam front and center. Because there's only one Space Jam, there's only one true story about how one man, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, saved the universe from the basketball-playing aliens called the Monstars. Any other reports you've heard about a sequel? It's fiction! It's not a true story. Space Jam 2 can eat a dick. But I can still acknowledge LeBron James's place in NBA history. He's a legend. He's an icon of the game. He is an all-time great. He is one of the greatest players of all time. I have no problem saying that. I have no problem admitting that. He is truly one of the greatest players that I have ever seen in my lifetime. But being a guy like that, being in a position like that, will open you up to your fair share of criticism. And LeBron has definitely gotten plenty of criticism throughout his NBA career and even going back to his high school days. There's been criticism of him for a long period of time. Some invalid, such as criticizing him for getting hookups on a couple of throwback jerseys. If I remember correctly, when he was in high school, it was Gale Sayers and Wes Unseld jerseys that got him into some trouble, even though he was bringing in millions of dollars for Ohio's High School Athletic Association, playing in all of these big-time gyms, selling it out. That's invalid criticism. The kid deserves some throwbacks for all the shit that he was bringing to the table. But you also have valid criticism, such as the decision, such as going to LA this past season and really looking somewhat disinterested, looking like he had too many distractions, too many other things going on in his mind, and basketball was not the A1 top priority. You can go both ways. There's invalid and valid criticisms, and that's part of the deal. But why all of a sudden are people questioning him as a parent and criticizing him as a parent? Why? Because he goes to his son's games? Because he's present at his son's games? Because he's enthusiastic and excited at his son's games? Because when his son makes a big play, he's coming onto the court and high-fiving him and stuff? Because he's joining the layup line? Like, look, there are plenty of things that you can question about LeBron James. And there are plenty of things that you can criticize about LeBron James. But leave it to our stupid society, our stupid country, to criticize a man for being present and accounted for as a father. This is not the fight to pick about LeBron James. This is not the area to criticize him. You're mad because he's at the games? You're mad because he's excited? Surely. Overexcited, surely a little bit too much, I grant you. But do we really need to go as far as to criticize him? Like, is that how prevalent the hate is for LeBron in some circles, that anything he does automatically is going to give him criticism? That's ridiculous. And beyond all that, are some people so miserable, especially in the basketball media, in part because they're looking for something to talk about at this time of year? I understand it, so you're going to manufacture stories that don't really exist. Like, this is not a situation like LeVar Ball, who's sitting there and making it about himself to such a level that he becomes too much of a domineering presence in his kid's life. And while he is present and accounted for, and he deserves credit and respect for that, he also just cost his son Lonzo a crap ton of money with that failed Big Baller brand venture. LeBron James is sitting there going to his kids' games. He's being present, accounted for, invested, excited, emotional, just like so many other parents are when they go watch their freaking talentless kids play, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, what have you. Now, if he was sitting there and trying to fight refs and fight opposing players and fight and argue with opposing coaches or parents from his team or other teams, then the criticism is valid. Because it's then, LeBron, what the hell are you doing? LeBron, get a hold of yourself. LeBron, it's not always about you. And I can understand some of the optics here, like when he's joining the layup line and so forth, that it's not always about him and he shouldn't be out there. I can kind of get that a little bit, except for the fact of, imagine being LeBron James, and then imagine being Bronny. Your dad is one of the greatest basketball players of all time. That is a tremendous amount of pressure and expectations to have to live up to, especially when you are a very talented young basketball player yourself, and people are talking about that someday the only reason LeBron is going to keep playing into his late 30s and possibly to age 40 is because he wants to play on the same team with his son. And that's kind of cool to think about in and of itself. But here is a man, he's been married to his wife, a high school sweetheart. How many years have been together? By all accounts, good, loving, caring husband, good, loving, caring father. He's present, he's there, he's accounted for. Like, why are we bashing LeBron James? Because he gets a little too excited for his kid making a big play. Because he gets a little too enthusiastic, goes in the damn layup line. I mean, after all, he is freaking LeBron James. Like, it's just sometimes you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And I feel bad for LeBron on this. I know it doesn't matter, and he spends about exactly 0 seconds of his life worrying about it, as he should. But Christ almighty, there are so many other valid, legitimate things to talk about here. And instead of celebrating a wealthy man being a father, being a husband, being present and accounted for in his kid and his family's life, we're sitting there knocking him because he went through a damn layup line. The hell is wrong with people? What the hell is wrong with the media today? I understand the need to want to create something out of nothing and want to talk about stories, but stop manufacturing crap that doesn't exist. There are other stories out there. Go find them and talk about them. This is not one of them. This is stupid. Can't imagine. Because he joined a layup line. Because he's coming on the court and he's slapping skin with Bronny. My God. What the hell happened to us?